Act 5, Scene 1, a churchyard. Enter two clowns with spades.
Is she to be buried in a Christian burial when she willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, and therefore makes her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her, and binds into Christian burial. Is she to be buried?
Ghostly. How can that be unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be, say, offendendo. It cannot be else, for here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act, and an act hath three branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but here you, good man, who dealt her.
Give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man go to his water and drown himself, it is. Will he nil he? He goes, mark you that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
But is this the law?
Aye, man, it is. Crowner's Westlaw.
Will you have the truth on it? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial.
Why, where there, thou sayest, and the more pity that great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than their even Christian. Come, my spade. There is no ancient gentleman but God, teachers and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Is he a gentleman?
Ah, 'twas the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had one.
What? Art an heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says, Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, for that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy wit well, in good faith. The gallows does well. And now how does it well? It does well to those that do ill. Now thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. Are all the gallows may do well to thee? Do it again, come.
Who builds stronger than a mason, shipwright, or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that, and unyoke.
Now I can tell. Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains more about it, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. And when you are asked this question next, say, a grave maker. The houses he makes last till doomsday. Go, get thee in and fetch me a stew of liquor. In youth, when I did love, he thought it was a very sweet to contract all the time for my leave. Oh, methought there I was nothing of me.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave making?
Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness.
Isn't so the hand of little employment, hath the daintier sense.
The age with stealing steps have clawed me into his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if I had never been such.
Here's one.
That skull has a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave delved into the ground as it were Cain's jawbone. That did the first murder. This might be the fate of a politician, which this ass now o'erreaches one that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or of a courtier, which could say, Good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou good lord? This might be, my lord, such a one that praised my lord such a one's horse, when he meant to beg it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
What? For so, and now my lady's worm chapped and knocked about the mazard with a sexton spade. Here's fine revolution, and me had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more the breeding but to play at loggers with them? Mine ate to think on it.
Pickaxe and a spade, for and a shouting sheet. Oh, a pit of clay, for that to be made for such a guest to me. Ah!
There's another.
There's another one.
Why may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddits now, his quillets, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this rude knack now to knock? The rude knave now to knock him about the skulls with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be in time a great buyer of land with his statues, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines and the recovery of his recoveries, to have his fine pate full of fine dirt? With his vouchers vouch him? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases? And double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyance of his land will scarcely lie in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more?
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is not parchment made of sheepskin?
Aye, my lord. And of calf skins, too.
They are sheep and calves which seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sir?
Mine, sir. Oh, pit of clay, for to be made for such a guest as me.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on it, sir, and therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it. To be in it and say it is thine, 'tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away again from me to you.
But what man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman then?
For none, neither.
Who's to be buried?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
No, absolute the name is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, these 3 years I have taken note of it. The age is grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he galls his kind. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to it the day that our last King Hamlet overcame Whatevah.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was that very day that young Hamlet was born. He, that is, mad, and sent into England.
Aye, Mary. Why was he besent?
Why? Because he was mad. I shall recover his wits there, or, if I do not, there's no great small matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he.
Oh, how came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
Oh, how strangely.
Faith, even with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark. I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
Faith, if be not rotten before, die we, as we have many poor pucky corses nowadays that will scarce hold the lying in. Will last you some 8 year or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade that it will keep out of water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your horse and dead body. Here's a skull now that lieth in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A horse and mad fellow 'twas. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on it for a mad rogue. I poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. The same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
Yeah. Even that.
Let me see. Ah. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew it. Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, a most excellent fancy, he hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. Now, how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorges rise at it. Here hung those lips that I had kissed, I know not oft. How oft? Where be your jibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning, quiet chap, Holland? Now, get you to your lady's chamber and tell her. Let her paint an inch thick to this favor. She must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked on this fashion here,
And so?
and smelt so?
And so, my lord.
To what base use? We may return, Horatio. Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till it finds it stopping on a bump hole?
'Twere to consider too curiously to consider so.
No, faith, not a joke, but to follow him thither with modesty enough, and likelihood to lead it, as thus. Alexander died. Alexander was buried. Alexander returneth into dust. The dust is earth. Of earth we make loam. And why of that loam whereto he was converted might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar dead and turned to clay might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that the earth which kept the world in awe should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw. But some, aside, here comes the king, the queen, the courtiers. Of course that they follow, and with such main rites. This doth betoken the course they followed did with desperate hands fordo its own life. 'Twas of some estate. Couch we a while and more.
What ceremony else?
That is Laertes, a very noble youth, mark.
What ceremony else?
Her obscures have been as far enlarged as we have warned these. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command persuades the older, she should in ground unsanctified have lodged, till the last trumpet for charitable prayers, shard and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin rites, her maidens' instruments, and the bringing home a bell and burial. Must there no more be done? No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead, to sing a requiem, and such rest to her as to peace parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and polluted flesh, sweet violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, A ministering angel shall my sister be, when thou liest howling.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Sweet to the sweet, farewell. I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bid you her debt, sweet maid, and not have strewn thy grave. O treble woe, fall 10 times treble on thy cursed head, whose wicked deed thou most ingenious since deprived thee of. Hold off the earth awhile, till I have caught her voice in mine arms. Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till this flat mountain you have made, the o'ertop Ophelia in the skies head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearers? This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul.
Thou prayest not well, I pray thee take thy fingers from my throat, for though I am not selective and rash, yet have I in me something dangerous, which let my wiseness fear. Away thy hand!
Pluck them asunder.
Hamlet, gentle.
Gentlemen!
Good, my lord, be quiet.
Why, I will fight with him upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what thee?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he's mad, Laertes.
For love of God, forbear him.
Swoons, show me what thou do. Would weep, would fight, would fast, would tear thyself, would drink up Iso, eat a crocodile, I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou prate of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till our ground, singeing his pate against the burning zone, make Ossa like a wart. Nay, not thou mouth, I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him. Anon as patient as a female dove, when that her golden couplets are disclosed, his silence will subdue.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day.
I pray you, good Horatio, wait upon him. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience our proceeding be. Scene 2. All in the castle. Enter Hamlet and Horatio.
Much for this, sir. Let me see the other. You remember all the circumstances.
Remember it, my lord?
Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. I thought I lay worse than the mutinies and the bilboes, rashly, and praise to the rashness for it. Let us know our indiscretion sometimes serves us well, when our deep plot do fail, and that should teach us there's divinity that shapes our end. Rough hew them how we will.
That is most certain.
Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me in the dark, groped I to find out them, had my desire, fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold, my fears forgetting manners, to unseal their grand commission, where I found Horatio, oh, royal knavery, an exact command, larded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health and England's too with, oh, such bugs and goblins in my life that on the supervised, no leisure baited, no, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
Is it possible?
Well, here's the commission. Read it at a more leisure. But wilt thou bear me how I did perceive?
I beseech you.
Being thus benetted round with villainies, or I could make a prologue to my brain, they had begun to play. I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once did hold it, as our status do, outbased us to write fair, and labored much, how to forget the learning. But, sir, now it did me yeoman service. Wilt thou know the effect of what I wrote?
Aye, good my lord.
An earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them like the palm might flourish, as peace should still her wheaten garland wear, and stand a comma between their amities, and many such likes as of great blah 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 blah. That on the view and know of these contents without debating further, more or less, he should the bearers put to sudden death, not shriving time allowed.
How was this sealed?
Why, even in that was heaven ordinate. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the model of that Danish seal, folded with writ up in the form of the other, subscribed it, David the impression, placed it safely. The changeling never known. Now, the next day was our sea fight, and what to this was sequent, thou knowest already.
So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to?
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the past and fell and sense points of mighty opposites.
Why, what a king is this?
Does it not think as thee stand me now upon? He that hath killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election of my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cozenage, isn't it not perfect conscience to quit him with his arm? And is it not to be, damn it, to let this canker of our nature come in further evil?
It must be shortly known to him from England. What is the issue of business there?
It will be short, the interim is mine, and a man's life is no more than to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself. For by my image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favour, but sure the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Peace! Who comes here?
Your worship is right. Welcome back to Nidmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost thou know this waterfly?
No, my good lord.
Thy state is the more gracious, for 'tis a vice to know him. He hath much land, and fertile. Let a beast be lord of beasts, and his crib shall stand as the king's mess. 'Tis a troll. But, as I say, spacious is the possession of good.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I could impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to its right use. 'Tis for the head.
Yes, I thank your lordship. It is very hot.
No, believe me, 'tis very cold. The wind is northerly.
Oh, well, it is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
Methinks it is very sultry and hot for my lord.
Oh, exceedingly, my lord. It is very sultry. As for, I cannot tell how, but my lord, his majesty, bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head, sir. And this is the matter.
I beseech you, remember.
Yes. Nay, good my lord, for my own ease, in good faith, sir, here is come newly from court Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, a very soft society, and great showing, and indeed to speak feelingly of him, and he is the card of calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him the continent of what a gentleman would see.
Sir, his defilements suffer no perdition in you. Though I know to divide him inventorially would dizzy the arithmetic of memory. And yet, but neither in respect of his quick sale, but in the verity of extolment, I take him to be a soul of great article, and his effusion of such dearth and rareness as to make true diction of him. His semblable is his mirror, and who else would trace him? His umbrage, nothing more.
Your lordship speaks most infallibly of him.
Then concernancy, sir? Why do we wrap the gentleman in our more raw breath?
Sir?
It's not possible to understand in another tongue.
Oh,
What imports the nomination of this gentleman?
of Laertes?
His purse is empty already. All's golden words are spent.
Of him, sir.
I know you are not ignorant.
Oh, I would you did, sir. Yet, in faith, if you did, it would not much improve me. Well, sir.
Oh, you are not ignorant of what excellent Laertes is.
I dare not confess that, lest I should compare with him in excellence. But to know a man well were to know himself.
I mean, sir, for his weapon. But in the imputation laid on him by them, his meed, he's unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
Well, a rapier and a dagger.
So that's two of his weapons.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the king, sir, hath wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, and against the which he has imponed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their assigns as girdle, hangle, and so 3 of the carriages in faith are so very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hills, most delicate in carriages, and very liberal conceit.
what call you the carriages?
I knew you must be edified by the margin error you had done.
Oh, the carriages, sir, are the hangers.
Praise would be more German to the matter if we could carry cannon by our side. I would it might be a hanger still then. But on 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, they're assigned, and 3 liberal conceited carriages that the French bet against the Danish. Why is this all imponed, as you call it?
Oh, the king, sir, hath laid that by a dozen passes between yourself and him, you shall not exceed 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and it would come to immediate trial, if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial.
Sir,
Eh?
I will walk here.
Ooh.
If it please His Majesty, it is the breathing time of the day. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king holds his purpose. I will win for him if I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
Oh, shall I re-deliver you in soul?
To this effect, sir, after what flourish which you will.
Well, I command my duty to your lordship.
Yours, Lord. He does well to commend it to himself. There are no tongues else fox turn.
And this lapwing runs away with the shell on his head.
He did comply with his dove before he sucked it. Thus has he, and many more of the same bevy that I know, the drossy age dotes on. Only got the tune of the time and outward habit of the counter, a kind of yesty collection which carried them through the most fanned and winnowed opinions, and do but blow them to their trial, the bubbles are out. Lord, my lord, his majesty commends in him. Oh, that's the Lord. That's the Lord. Sorry. Oh my God. It's the Lord.
It's the Lord.
My lord, his
Sorry.
majesty commanded him to you by young Osric, who brings back to him that you attend him in the hall. He sends to know if your brother holds to play with laces, or that you will take longer time.
I am constant to my purpose. They follow the king's pleasure. If his fitness speaks, mine is ready now or whensoever provided. I be so able as now.
The king and queen and all are coming down.
In happy time.
The queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment to Laertes before you fall to play.
She well instructs me.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
I do not think so. Since he went into France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldst not think how ill all hear about my heart, but it is no matter.
Nay, good, my lord.
It is but foolery, but it is such a kind of gains giving as would perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither, and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow.
Mm.
If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all, since no man has aught of what he leaves. What is it to leave betimes?
Come, Hamlet, come, take this hand from me.
Give me a pardon, sir, I have done you wrong, but pardoned as you are a gentleman. His presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with sore distractions. What I have done that might your nature honor an exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Was Hamlet wrong, Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself can be ta'en away, and when he's not himself doth wrong Laertes, then Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? It's madness. If it be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wrong. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts that I have shot my arrows o'er the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature. This motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor, I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement till some elder masters of known honor. I have a voice and precedent of peace to keep my name ungored. But till that time, I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils, come on.
Come, one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall, like a star in the darkest night, stick fiery off at thee.
You mock me, sir.
No, by this hand.
Give them the foils, young Odric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager?
Very well, my lord. Your grace has laid the odds or the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both. But since he is better, we have therefore odds.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well. These foils have all a length.
Aye, my good lord.
Set me the stoops of wine upon that table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup an union shall he throw. A union? The richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Give me the cups, and let the kettle to the trumpet speak. The trumpet to the cannoneers without, the cannons to the heavens to earth, and now the king dunks to Hamlet. Come, begin, and you, the judges, bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
1.
No.
Judgment.
A hit! Oh, a hit! A very palpable hit! Ah!
Well, again.
Stay, give me a drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll play the bout first. Set it by a while. Come! The head, what you say, you?
A touch, I do confess it.
Our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. Queen Paranormal, their fortune.
Wouldn't matter.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you, pardon.
It's a poisoned cup. It's too late.
I dare not drink yet, madam. Bye-bye.
Come, let me wipe thy face. My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think it.
And yet it is almost against my conscience.
For the third Laertes, you but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence. I'm afeard you make a wanton of me.
Saying so? Come on.
Listen to the queen there. Oh.
How about you now?
Got them! They're incensed!
Come again.
Look to the queen there. Oh.
They bleed on both sides. How is it, my lord?
How is it, Laertes?
Why is the woodcock to my own spring, Auric? I am justly killed with my own treachery.
Oh. How is the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed!
No.
Oh.
The drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet. The drink. I am poisoned.
Oh! Villainy!
No.
Oh!
Oh, no.
Let the doors be locked! Treachery! Shake it out!
It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand. Unbaited and unvenomed, the foul practice hath turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned, I can no more. The king's to blame.
Ooh, the pointed venom too. Then venom to thy work.
Treason! You have to defend me, friend! I am hurt!
Now, incestuous, murdered. Damn it, Dane! Bring out this potion. Is that your ear? Oh, that damn mother!
Sir, is the poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon me, nor thine on me.
Oh, heaven! Make them thee free of it. I follow thee. I am dead. Horatio, wretched queen, adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mutes of audience to this act, and I but time as dispel Sergeant Death the streets. Oh, tell you, but let it be. Horatio, I am dead. Now let us report me and my cause of right to be unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more antique Roman than a Dane. Here's yet some liquor left.
Oh, as thou art a man, give me the cup. Let go, by heaven, I'll have it. Oh, good Horatio. Thing standing thus unknown shall live behind thee. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this hard world draw thy bread and pain. Tell my story. What warlike noise is this? What's that? What warlike noise is this?
Oh, young Fortress, with conquest come from Poland to the ambassadors of England gives this warlike volley. Oh,
I die, Horatio.
no.
Yes, the poison is quite overthrown my spirit. I cannot live to hear the news. I cannot live to hear the news. But I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice, so tell him with the occurrence, more or less, which have solicited the rest.
Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. Flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Where is a sight? What is ye would see, if aught woe or wonder cease your search? This quarry cries, what peace restored thine eternal cell, but thou so many princes hast shot, so gladly.
Sight is dismal, and our affairs in England too late. Are senseless that should give us here to tell him his commandment is the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks?
Not from his mouth. Had it the ability of life to thank you, he never gave a commandment for their death. But since so jump upon this bloody question, you from the Polack wars, and you from England, and here arrive, give order that these bodies, high on a stage, be placed to the view. And let me speak to ye unknowingly world, how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of death put on by cunning and forced cause. And in this upshot, purposes mistook, fallen on the inventor's reeds. All this can I truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it, and call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now, to claim my vantage, doth invite me.
Of that I shall also cause to speak, and from his mouth, whose voice will draw on more, but let the same be presently performed, even while men's minds are wild, lest more mischance on plots and errors happen.
Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage. For he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royally for his passage. The soldier's music and the rites of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Bid the soldier.
Come on. Careful, Arthur. Open race.